This is Tom Dillon, the Lifetime Liberal, and today is Sunday, July 19th, 2020. The title of this rant is, Will Trump Use His Stormtroopers on Election Day? So we know what's going on in Portland, where federal officers are not helping out the situation at all. The mayor has asked them to get the heck out of there. The governor has asked them to get the heck out of there. They're doing things that the state of Oregon said that you can't do when you're monitoring protests. Trump recently said that many exciting things are going to happen in the next couple weeks, and expect that. And he has talked, same with Fox News, about all of the riots that are going on in the street. He has mentioned Chicago a lot. So are we going to see federal troops going into Chicago? I think the other city that he mentioned was Atlanta. Again, unwanted, uncalled for, and not doing what they really need to do. And of course, no insignia as to who the heck they are. And again, they are setting the stage. Trump is setting the stage to use them on election day. And of course, he's already done this. Not only did he do it in Portland, he also did it in Washington, D.C., right at the end of May. At the same time, we know that the RNC, the Republican National Committee, is trying to hire 50,000 poll watchers on Election Day. And a good question for that is, how many of them are going to be police people, militia people? How many of them are going to be allowed to be armed and to go out there into the, let's just say, the neighborhoods, to the polling areas, and physically confront people who they think maybe should or should not vote, asking for papers, so to speak? That's a real good way to make sure that there's good intimidation, is have armed white people questioning people of color as to their papers and whether or not they should be in line. I mean, if you were driving to go vote there and you saw that, and you were a person of color, would you want to get in line? And of course, what else? What else if not only are those 50,000 poll watchers, many of whom may be armed, what if Trump sends armed troops from the Department of Homeland Security, the U.S. Marshal's Office, and of course the two most racist federal agencies, ICE and Border Patrol? What if he sends them also, armed, camouflaged, out to all the polling areas? Again, what if they're there to intimidate, to ask for papers, maybe even to use that as an excuse to arrest people? Yeah, that's a lot of voter intimidation. Can that actually happen? Of course it can. And then here's another little thing that just may happen. Suppose on the night of the election, there's 3 times as many mail-in ballots as there are actually people who go to the polls, which would be, let's just say, mostly white people. And Trump wins by a small margin on election night. But Biden's going to kick his ass on the mail-in ballots. Again, like I said the other time, what if he calls a national emergency and indicating that it's fraud committed by China? Can that actually happen? And then what if he sends those armed troops to stop the vote counting in certain areas and possibly even confiscate the ballots? Okay? Now, I just want to say, I'm not paranoid, but don't tell me that these aren't things that can happen. And don't tell me that these aren't things that people in the Trump administration and in other areas, quasi-government areas, aren't thinking about doing. How to manipulate as much as possible to make sure that Trump wins. Because let's be very fair about this. A lot of these people know that are in the Trump world, Trump appointees, that they are going to be charged if Biden is elected. And of course, let's also remember, Trump hired the worst of the worst. This is the time we need to get behind our elected Democratic representatives and stay behind them the whole way. And again, vote Democrat the entire ticket.